How to handle sibling rivalry. How to handle sibling rivalry. Thank you and welcome to today's conversation on how to handle sibling rivalry. The first thing that I want us to know about sibling rivalry is the fact that there are so many reasons why siblings have issues or siblings are going through a lot. And some of the reasons that I documented will be number one, the birth order dynamics. So sometimes it's the fact that somebody is older and then that older, eldest, whatever nature comes into play. You also have competition where you are competing for attention or perceived favoritism, or maybe in the personality and development and temperament differences. And then sometimes parents compare children. So all of us, or many of us, have siblings, and we're all different people. We're all different in our personalities, in our temperament, in how we perceive education, and how we just relate with the world inside of us and outside of us. So today, I want to have a conversation with us about how to handle sibling rivalry and differences and conflicts and arguments, and just try to give you some tools. The first thing I need us to understand is to understand and know our siblings better. The first thing we need to know is some of them are not our enemies. Are there some that act like enemies? Maybe, but some of them are not our enemies. And what I mean by this is we've been raised differently. The relationship I have with my parents is not necessarily the same relationship my brother or my sister or my siblings have with the same parent. Now, the parent they had will most likely be different than the parent that I had. And their relationship with my parents will most likely be different from my relationship with my parents. So when I'm having a conversation about my father or my mom or any other family member, I am having the conversation from the relationship I have with them. Sometimes they may not be able to relate because the mother I know and the father I know may not be the same parents that they know. And what I know and the way I know it may not be the same way that they know it. So when your siblings are talking to you or you are arguing or whatever the issue is, I need you to first understand that they are not necessarily your enemies. Their tone may sound like it, their body language may sound like it, but it may not necessarily be true. So, what is important is that we listen. We listen to try and understand where exactly they are coming from. And another reason why we're listening is because some of these people are still in the survival stage. When you are in the survival stage, you have no energy to think about the future. You are just thinking about what is happening now. So you are usually in that fight or flight or freeze or fawn zone. Like you are usually ready to attack, not because you are a bad person, but because your nervous system is always on the edge. You are ready to attack. Sometimes you're defensive, you are just on the edge, like trying to protect yourself. So when you're having a conversation with your siblings, I genuinely want us to listen to understand where exactly they're coming from. And I must admit that sometimes what is going on or what they're saying may not make sense to you, but just listen. It doesn't have to make sense to you for you to listen. Like just listen, because that's what we owe the people that we care about. The second thing I want us to also know is that because we are siblings does not mean that they are permitted to stress our nervous system. So here's what I mean. An average family member comes with some level of responsibility and sacrifice and maybe some level of stress. They don't mean it. They don't mean any harm most times, but somehow, engaging with people sometimes just causes stress. Now, there is the good stress and there is the bad stress that someone is triggering your nervous system and is causing autoimmune diseases, and they're giving you anxiety, panic attack, spiking your blood pressure, all of those things. So if you have a sibling that spikes your blood pressure, talks to you rudely or condescendingly, and does anything that is against your peace, what I need you to understand is that you can love people from afar. I understand the place where we need to love people. And I'm an advocate of love. I'm an advocate of care. I'm an advocate of kindness. And part of it is self love. Part of it is self care. Part of it is kindness. So, in all that we're doing, you need to focus on yourself too. So, if you have a sibling that acts like they are detrimental to your health, they are detrimental to your nervous system, I would want you for now to please love them from afar. Like, love them, support them, be there for them, but you don't have to necessarily be in the same environment to say that I love you. And if this set of people are willing to listen to you and have a conversation without flaring up, without cursing, without doing funny things, then I would want you to also engage a conversation. Sometimes if we genuinely sit down and have conversations with people, we may just be able to solve some problems or be able to deal with some issues. But it is not everybody that has the capacity to listen, to validate, and be able to resolve. So if you are lucky and you have anyone who can listen, who can validate, and who desires to repair what you have, then please go for it. But if they don't desire to repair what you have, if they attack you, if they are condescending, if they just do things against your mental health, as much as possible, I just need you to love them from afar. I know that people say that blood is thicker than water, and I totally agree with them. Yes, blood is thicker than water, but blood is not thicker than peace. And if you have children who are going through sibling rivalry at the moment, they are always shouting at each other, comparing, fighting, and it's becoming a worry to you, please send me a DM so that I can send you a link to our emotional intelligence for children class. It's a virtual boot camp for children, and anybody can join. Any child between the ages of 7 and 18 can join from anywhere in the world. Why do we have to do this? Because it is better to build a child. It is better to teach a child how to handle anger, anxiety, low self-esteem, peer pressure, than allow that child become an adult and then you have to repair them. Therapy is expensive. It costs thousands of dollars. And sometimes some people don't get better during therapy for several reasons. And sometimes they get into suicidal ideation and sometimes they unalive themselves. So if you have a child between the ages of 7 and 18, it's a beautiful time to teach them how to disagree and not disengage. It's a beautiful time to teach them how to handle anger, anxiety, self-esteem, peer pressure. We are adults trying to repair our relationships with ourselves. Because guess what? The greatest relationship you can have is a relationship with yourself. Some of us are having board meetings with ourselves. Some of us are showing up and we're sitting down and saying that we need to have a homecoming ceremony. We need to come back to ourselves. We need to get back to who we were before we lost our innocence, who we were before we thought that we lost our dignity, who we were before shame took over. While we are doing the repair, it costs money, it costs time, it costs tears. And then as we heal and repair ourselves, it becomes lonely because guess what? Not a lot of people are doing the hard work. So as you heal yourself, you become just one of the very few, one of the 5-10% of people who are doing the hard work of healing. Let's preserve our children from that pain. Let's break the generational emotional pain. So if you have a child between the ages of 7 and 18, send me a DM to enroll them in our emotional intelligence for children virtual bootcamp. Any of your children can join from anywhere in the world. Sibling rivalry is very painful to engage in. Like, you would have siblings, but you would not have any connection. You will not cherish or have any relationships. Like the depth you want to build, the friendship you desire, the understanding you desire, the validation. Like it will look like you have people around you, but nobody in your corner. It will look like you have people around you, but nobody gets you, nobody understands you, nobody can lock in with you, and nobody can feel you the way you want to be felt. If you're one of the lucky people who can have conversations with your siblings, please go for it. Please go for it. Cry, embrace yourselves, do anything that you have to do. And you can also engage therapy. You can send me a DM if you need any help. But while we're trying to repair ourselves as adults, I want us to get into that zone for children already. I want us to have an intervention for children already. Have a child between the ages of 7 and 18, enroll them in the emotional intelligence class. Like it is very affordable. $99 is more affordable than thousands of dollars in therapy. And what are they going to learn? How to handle sibling rivalry, how to resolve anger issues, anxiety, peer pressure, esteem issues, how to be kind, how to disagree without disengaging, like beautiful things that I wished I'd learned when I was 8, not when I was 28. So thank you so much for showing up. I'll talk to you in my DM for all of you who will send me a DM. More than ever before, I evangelize emotional intelligence because emotional intelligence changed my life. It moved me from being a nuisance to being an emotions doctor. It made me understand that you can disagree and not disengage. You can love people and still honor them with a gift of distance. You can preserve yourself and you can forgive people and say to them, I forgive you, I love you, I will be there for you as much as I can, but as much as possible, we don't have to reconcile. We don't have to reconcile. So I'll see you some other time. Thank you so much for joining. Have a restful evening.